Good morning, welcome back to Dumfries Ice Bowl for the 2017 International Mixed Doubles. Saturday morning, first draw, it's draw number 7 of the competition. We are watching the Chinese against the Latvians. Chinese currently 3-0 up, and this is the second end. As you see, the Latvians playing the blue stones, which is quite handy. And they have the last stone in this end, but in a little bit of trouble. Or have put the Chinese in a little bit of trouble, rather. Joining me this morning, John Graham. Morning, John.
Morning, David. How are you?
Refreshed.
Early morning start.
Early morning start. I think 6 o'clock the kids came through this morning.
Hiya, kids.
Yeah, it was quite good though. It's kind of a good wake-up call for the qualifying for the Formula 1. So, and then they were quite happy sitting in bed watching that, and then we watched the Scotland-Sweden game. The page 3-4 game across in China.
What was the result there?
Well, for anybody that doesn't know the result and doesn't want to know it, you've got about 3 seconds to switch off. But unfortunately, Scotland lost that game this morning. 8-5, I think, was the scoreline. They were always, I didn't see the last couple of ends, but they always seemed to be fighting. They were always down in the game, put it that way.
Sometimes a game goes that way. They've been doing very well, and I think they've once again done us very proud across here.
Yeah, still a chance to come away with a medal as well.
That's excellent.
Play either Russia or Sweden again in the bronze medal game, which I assume is tomorrow, but I have to say I'm not quite sure.
I've kind of lost track of it, I'll be quite honest with you. So quite involved here since Thursday, getting people from the airport, and then just doing odds and sods around here. So here we've got, as you say, China versus Latvia. I don't have the up-to-date results on all the games. Just looking at the web, it's showing that China and Sweden are still in just 2 games, so I think there's still some updating to be done there. But it did show that of the 2 games they've played, China hasn't won either of them. And I'm sure that they were probably expecting a lot better than that. Their performance, I think, elsewhere has been quite good, so they'll be looking for a win.
Yeah, I think I just noticed this morning a few scores on the website haven't been finalised, so I think we've got somebody on that this morning sorting that out. I think it's just odd games, but we'll have a wee check of that.
Latvia, they're played 3 games, and it shows that they've only won 1 with 2 losses.
And that's right, I think. Pretty sure that's right. They've certainly played 3 games yesterday, so I think that's okay. I think it's the Chinese have also played 3 games, so not quite sure where they're standing at the moment.
So as David was saying there, Chinese are showing the red colour stones, and at this moment in time we're just a wee bit blocked by exactly what's happening. Clearly some discussion as to some alternatives here.
I would say what's happening down there is the umpires are getting quite nervous.
Do you think so?
Quite a tight measure. I think the blue is shot at the moment.
Clearly a number of options open to them.
Yeah, I think they'll probably be looking.
Precise shot, this.
Very precise shot. Can't really afford to be wide on it or tight because the blue's heading into shot position. Either blue heads to shot position. So only one option on this one. Looks pretty nice.
Just from here.
They've just gone for the back blue now. Yeah. And yeah, blue's definitely line 1, possibly 2 now. Sorry, no, just the 1. Sorry, they have moved that blue, of course.
Of course, it's where it's opened up for them now. So. I think that's on a different chart. Drive the run one into the to try to catch the inside of that red one there, just near his foot. And
Yeah, I think. Let me just because the Latvians are blue, of course. So yeah, I think they may look to hit the red. You can see slice it across, and if it works, it's potentially a 3. But if it doesn't work, it's potentially not very pleasant for them.
well, it's the shot that comes after this, isn't it? Because am I right in
I have
saying
a notion this might be last stone, John.
Oh, my apologies.
I might be. I might be totally wrong on that one.
Well, a decision has been made.
See if we can see up there. That is last stone, I think. Yep, it is last stone.
Right.
So there'll be 2 stones left after this one's played, which are of course the play stones for the next end. He's got 2 options here, to be fair. He can either take the red. What are we going for, a tap? Looks a lot of ice.
Aye, I wouldn't have thought that it was a much chance of them losing the shot. They'll be trying to get the
Trying
2.
to get number 2 in there.
Aye.
So I suppose it's tapping the red through, isn't it? Is
Aye.
the shot for a 2, and the slash on the red is the shot for a 3. But I don't think the slash isn't on. There's no way you would play that. He'll be looking to tap this blue through the hole between the 2 reds. Maybe even come in off the left-hand side red. He doesn't want
look
to be
too bad.
anywhere near this first red, though.
Oh no!
Gets away with it. Gets away with it.
Just 1. Anyway, they're on the board. So Latvia's on the board. So it's 3-1.
Welcome to mixed doubles.
China versus Latvia.
Should we do a recap of the rules?
Again,
it's a new day.
It's a new day, and there's new people out there listening to this that's maybe not looked at all the rest of it. So, mixed double is.
Sensible way out of that. And, maybe deal with that to can catch a team cold or.
One of the things that you forget about, and maybe an explanation to people that don't know much about mixed doubles, is that mixed doubles is not just for the most competitive of curlers. We've actually got quite a mix of teams here today. We've got two where it's father and daughter, and quite a lot of the teams can be husband and wife or two partners. So it's very much a game that's open to all. So
it is, and I kind of hope it stays that way.
The only question I have, and if it's happened, please don't anyone be offended, but if you've got a new partner from last year, does it mean that you've fallen out of nice the previous year?
We'll find out next year.
Okay. It's just, you know. I suppose it's something like working with your partner.
You've got to have a lot of professional respect.
That's right.
No, it's maybe amplified by the fact people know each other or related, etc. But I think it just highlights one of the key things you have to be able to do in mixed doubles, which is communicate.
That's right.
Very effectively, very quickly as well. Sometimes it's quite a time-pressured game.
We noticed that last night that they weren't making much. They weren't taking a lot of time before they played the shots and that, and it was more or less right. That's what we're going to do, and now, and they just went and done it, you know. So China will really be pleased if they get on the board here.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Just keep the scoreboard ticking over. I think that's one of the key principles. Maybe slightly less swing on the ice this morning. Not drastic, just a little bit. I was speaking to Paul, the ice tech, this morning. He's down from Perth for the weekend, and he seems fairly relaxed, quite happy with the whole thing.
I think they were really pleased yesterday. In fact, I think they were at the stage that they were trying to perhaps do something to slow the stones down, because it was I think there was some feedback that the stones weren't really slowing down. Very tricky job. I mean, when you listen to someone like Paul, who came down from Perth to help us this weekend, it's quite mind-boggling, all the different aspects of it, and I find the whole thing quite fascinating at times.
Yeah, but definitely a kind of black magic to it. It seems to be. I'm sure it's very scientific, but it's mind-boggling when they start talking about all the different variables, and then you throw in players just tweaking handles here, there, and everywhere.
Well, as he was saying, he learnt his art from somebody who then went back to somebody else who learnt the art, and it goes all back to some professionals that started out many years ago there, and when you listen to what he was saying, and many years ago there, some ice technicians really went into it in a big way, and they probably provided the foundations for the ice techs of today, you know. So. And they did it without all the technology we've got nowadays.
I was just going to say, I take it they all had all the sensors and laptops and everything else.
No, I think that they licked their finger and put it up to see which way the drafts were coming. In fact, he was mentioning that at one, in the early days, they used to put up smoke bombs or that, so they could actually see which way the air was moving, and across in Canada where they've got thousands in an arena, and the fact that, say, everybody went away for a break created a vortex or something like that, and you never think of these things.
It still happens. I still use smoke bombs on a professional basis day to day.
All right.
Find out ventilation in sheds. You set a smoke bomb off in the middle of the shed and see what happens to it. Make sure there's enough of an updraft.
All right.
My logo's not on the ice, so we better not start dropping in free advertising today.
So, if anybody's wanting a bulk supply of smoke bombs, please get in touch with David Owen.
Who buys them from Tarf? Yeah. So not ideal. Guard coming up short and a wee bit tight as well.
We talked about mistakes and that, and one of the problems you've got, well, not a problem with mixed doubles, is that one error or one wee mistake in that can have disastrous consequences sometimes, because it really opens it up to the fallen player. So Latvia in the blue, playing here, facing two Chinese stones. So Latvia being one of the fewer teams who choose to normally put the brush down on the head. I can understand their frustration there. Just a wee bit further to the right and it would have been a really good shot. Yeah, you know, I'm sorry, when they struck the shot, you know, the shooter, if it had been a wee bit more to the right, it would have just put that shot a wee bit further in the centre there.
It's just small margins, isn't it? And again, the key thing in mixed doubles, missing on the right side, and in that case, literally the right side would have been better than the left side. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, I think the biggest frustration for them is it's drifted to third shot, which lets the Chinese draw one onto the top four. At least if it had been set in second shot, they probably hit it, which leaves the 4 foot open.
That's right. Still an opportunity here though for the Latvians, in that if China hits this dead and sits there, they can perhaps just a wee hit and roll and they'll be in the centre.
I'm surprised they hit that.
Well, I'm not really, because when you think what was just saying there, if they'd hit it, hit it all together, or just, do you think they should have drawn up to it?
I would have been covering the 4 foot. They've
Mm-hmm.
got last stone.
Mm-hmm.
If they go 4 foot, it takes the tap off, because I think we'll see a tap or a freeze against the back one now. One of the two. To try and kill the end. The Latvians will try and kill the end by doing that.
They have to. It's their only
Whereas
shot
I think
that's on.
if the Chinese had put a stone top 4, they've very little option after that with their last one, and then they've still got a stone to come. Because they were line 2 anyway. Okay, they're line 3 now, but you would like to think that back red's not going to come into play. We'll see.
We'll see how this end
You don't
plays
look
out.
convinced anyway.
I think I'm trying to follow it actually. Latvia really need to steal this end.
And they do, and I'm guessing with the ice given, they're looking for the freeze here
Oh, they have
rather
to.
than the tap. So going for the tap now. It'll be an open draw for a 3. I don't think there's any value in attempting what's a fairly flat double to get a 4. 3 is perfectly sufficient given the scoreline.
That's right. I mean, that would take them 6-1 up, and you would think that they would be wanting to be more sensible and try and get that bigger scoreline, just to get the win under your belt, especially when you've come all that distance to play the game. So.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not sure how this all works out for tomorrow's games, because there's a Consolation Cup semi-final. There's a Consolation Cup final games tomorrow as well. So
there is indeed.
I don't know what the pecking order is for to get into that.
There's none at all.
All right, okay.
On this game, anybody who's knocked out, I believe, is playing hot shots or points.
Right, okay.
Which then the top 4 teams from that then play the Consolation Cup semi-finals.
I think it's through.
He is. Just the 2. Go back to what you said right at the start of the end, John. They'll be quite happy to score this end.
Aye.
They'll be disappointed now, but...
That's right, aye. 4 up in the 4th end.
We thought we were relatively safe to go for a coffee there, but then they're going through a power play on us, on the right side as well, on the left side for our graphics, so right side for our graphics. So power play rules. So as you can see, all the stones go to the side. And the other key difference being that the stone on the tee line is in front of the tee line, not behind it, which hopefully makes it a little bit easier to make it into a scoring position. The other good news is I think we've got our scoring sorted out. You can see some of the scores up on screen there. A wee bit of a gap developing in most games, with the exception of sheet 8. Neil Fife against the Russian team across there, so that one's quite tight after 2 ends. Well, it's a perfect freeze. But I don't think it's good enough because I think the blue is still shot, so that doesn't really change things. I'm slightly surprised the Chinese didn't try and move the guard into the house and play a kind of an angled wick across. That would be one of the ways of dealing with the power play. Alternative way is playing the stone they've done just a little bit firmer, just to tap that blue into the back of the 12 foot, possibly even a little bit further back. Can't remove it from play, but this is just lacking a little bit of pace as well. Power play fairly similar to a normal game of curling, where one team's up, throwing 2 stones throwing the lead stones away through the house, and the opposition has put a corner guard and drawn one round it. There's a few ways to combat it, as I say, ticking the shots, either the guard or the one in the house. Seen a few teams when they've been down, and they've had a power play played against them. What they've done is literally put a centre guard up and just played an all-out steal. Be very careful with that, because you start losing big ends if you're not too careful. And this could be a good example of how a power play end can get quite messy very quickly. I expect we'll see something similar. A freeze onto the red. Just try and separate the back one a little bit, I suspect. They may even try and move the blue to the back of the 8 foot. Move that one back a little bit and just get it out of the way. So we have quite a nice setup here to score a few. Just could do with a little bit more separation between these stones at the moment. So in an ideal world, I'm looking to come thin off the right hand side blue. Don't want to hit the gap now. Oh. Yeah, I had to make sure of hitting something, and I've just hit the gap. So it's run through it, so a good opportunity now. China to tidy the end up. So John, not only did you leave just as they threw a power play, you've now come back with a roll and sausage.
And a bit of bacon.
And a bit of bacon. So you're going to get asked a lot of questions over the next 5 minutes.
So did you give a good explanation on the power play?
I gave an explanation.
All right then.
And interestingly, what the Chinese chose to do was draw around the left-hand side, and they ended up freezing the stone. An absolutely perfect freeze, but didn't tap it back any, so they left the Latvians short.
Right.
Latvians had a good opportunity to lie 3, but managed to hit the hole instead of tapping either of their own blues. Would have done. Rolled through to the back, which is why I've got the one on the back of the 12. And now we've got a near perfect frozen line of 3 stones in the 12 foot.
We had a power play last night, and then the opposition came round the left-hand side, something like that.
It's quite similar.
They actually tapped it, but they actually managed to catch it and tap it to the centre of the 12 foot, you know.
Which I think is good, whereas that just didn't quite have enough weight this time, just didn't quite tap it back. I did actually, as sad as I am, I left last night and then went home and watched it, and I heard in the commentary, according to David. I'm not sure I'm the gospel on this, to be honest.
Well, you've got more knowledge than both Kenny and I, so...
As I said to Kenny yesterday, it's not necessarily knowledge, it's having enough ignorance of a situation to say it confidently.
Right. So the Chinese and the red stones here, do you think that they'll be looking to tap back on their shots at this moment in time, or are they just looking to hit in or just roll in off there?
I quite like what they're looking at. I quite like the hit off the winger, because I think you could end up spinning 2, probably just a 2, but you could end up lying 2, which is going to make it difficult for the Latvians. Having said that, there is absolutely no way of bringing that back blue into play for them at the moment.
No.
So I think what we'll see the Chinese do is just play another freeze, essentially, just down onto it, try and tap it 4 or 5 inches and try and lie short.
One of the problems I see sometimes with mixed doubles is that you can fire your main shot too early, and that gives the opposition the opportunity to gain the advantage then.
There is. It's almost seeing this big shot or this big potential shot and trying to make the opposition worry about it for 3 or 4 shots, and it's. I think it can overcomplicate the game sometimes. Well, they did go for the big shot. Which gives the Latvians a chance to split the house now.
But it didn't really affect the Chinese too much, though. Other than the fact that they don't have that protection out there. But
no, but I suppose the fact that protection's away at least takes the threat of a bigger end off. Although I don't think there was much threat of that as it was, but
China would be quite happy if Latvia, be quite happy if they only got a 1 this end, and if they can keep them down to that,
they'd be delighted.
Quite good, you know. Still, that blue on the left will be short, though.
It is, and even if the Latvians score a 2, they'll be quite happy with that. They'll not be worried about that at all. This looks all pretty good. Yeah, played it well. Do you know, I might have been tempted to run that back a little bit further. If you could ever leave it as second shot, almost tempt the Chinese to make a play on the left hand side. Get rid of your blue, and at least it opens it up and gives you a fighting chance of getting rid of 2 reds. But you really need the opposition to make a play on them. But now they've left that stone short. It's an easy decision for the Chinese to hit that. Might have been tempted to freeze that back blue.
at this rate would be heading for Latvia to get their 2.
Yep, and holding a team to a 2 when they've taken the power play is fine. That's not.
The only thing is that I think that they would be looking here to roll a wee bit to the right. I mean, if they hit this dead, they're leaving the opportunity for a double on then.
It'd be fairly flat, John. I think that's. They can always play a double off their own red anyway. They can use the red as a double rather as going into the blue.
I was just thinking that then they would get them both, if you know what I mean.
Yep. Yeah. No, I think you're right. Move away to the right would be fine. Not this far though. I think we know what the Chinese are going to do with their last stone now. No, that was the last stone, sorry. So not the best use of a power play. Just a couple of loose stones in the end. Yep, see the the look to the sky. I don't think the Chinese will throw the power play back. I think they'll keep hold of it. Yep, see them putting the stones down the middle.
Still 3 ends to go, and as we've said before, one of the things about mixed doubles is that there's always the opportunity, if you just, as was mentioned before, you get a girdle in the centre, there's always an opportunity that you can perhaps get a big end and come back against your opposition.
Absolutely. It's I think it's the psychology of it that I find fascinating. You've lost an end. You've maybe had last stone. You've lost a steal. The guy that's just played the bad stone to lose you the end all of a sudden has to make his first stone. Otherwise, you could be losing the next end as well. Normally a skip, if they play a bad shot, they've got 3 other people to blame for playing bad shots in the following end before they play again. Which is why I think it suits some curlers and not others in terms of how they deal with a bad shot. Do they need 10 minutes to have a rant and calm down,
right.
or do they like getting straight back on it again? And equal, if you're playing well, it's great. It's played a good shot to win an end or steal an end, and stability.
I think it's one of those disciplines where you really just have to forget what you played before, whether it's a good or bad shot.
It's the same as all curling.
No, we're going back to what you say.
Yeah,
You've got
exactly.
10 minutes and that, and you're going through it and blaming the likes of the lead for their very first shot for you losing the end.
It's always the lead that gets the blame.
Or the second for missing the shot.
No, or even if you think about the conversations, we'll all have done it as a skip. You then have the conversation with the vice. You say, I think I threw that quite well, but do you think it just ran out a little bit, or did I turn it in, or it's I think that's what makes mixed doubles quite a different game. It's almost like points that way, actually.
What I like about it is that if you're not playing, if you're not the skip, nobody can turn around and say, you were just a wee bit narrow of the brush again, or you were just a wee bit wide of the brush again, because there was no brush there.
Well, still go back to we're defending champions last year, always have a brush. I thought that was very interesting yesterday. It was the only team we watched, and I have to say when we play mixed doubles a fair bit here, and we tend to have a brush. I'm beginning to feel in the minority, but maybe for an open draw or something like that we wouldn't bother, but I think it boils back to, certainly from my point of view, I don't feel my throw is technically good enough to state that I've hit the brush. So when we're trying to figure out ice and lines, I think it is worth having somebody at the other end just to keep an eye on. But then we don't get 3 minutes practice before the game and Thursday practice sessions and everything else. So,
well, one of my close family members has said to me on more than one occasion that the brush is just for guidance.
Were you skipping at this point? The brush is a loose guide, yeah. It's the same as the rings are just a loose guide as to where the stone should land, isn't it?
So, can I say that they've got some excellent brushes down here for curling? They use them for sweeping up the ice. They're about 1/2 metre in width. Excellent brushes, 1/2 metre. You know, when you're sweeping up the ice, they'd be fine for a skip.
A nice scratch factor to move the stones about.
I defy the skip to say you were off the brush then.
Yeah, I quite like that idea as well. I remember when I first started curling, it was a brush width you were aiming at. Now all of a sudden it's an upturned pad. The brush was quite optimistic to start off with.
It's worse when you get a black pad against black trousers and you're saying to yourself, roughly where is the brush pad? That's my excuse.
See, there's must be a very random number of ends some of these games have played, so I'm not entirely convinced. I think the scores have been updated as we speak. As I look across there, they normally have us on in there. They did last night. They were listening to you last night, so if you're listening, you could at least give us a wave. See, the McCleary game is tightened up. McCleary's playing the other Chinese rink. They need to win that one, I think, to stay in the competition. The McClearys. They did. So they'll be looking for a win. What would you be doing here then, John? I'll ask you before you ask me. Took the guard off. They went with the guard. I agree with you. I would have gone on that top. I think if you'd have froze the left hand side of that top blue, then the red probably drags back onto that back blue anyway. So, yep. I don't think you're far wrong with that. I'm not sure I would have taken the guard off. 5-2 up maybe. Just think it gives the Latvians a free go at this one.
No, unless they didn't intend to take it off.
They did, yeah. No, they went
right,
up and had a look at the guard. So,
right.
No, they did. I think the Latvians can now hit this blue on the right hand side, which I think pushes it. As long as they come in from the right to the left, I think that then pushes the red to the left of the back blue.
Mm-hmm.
It might touch it, but it's certainly not going to hang about. I don't think it might jam on the other red. But no matter where that red goes, it puts the Latvians in control of the forefoot.
It does, aye.
So I would say just high of nose is where they want. They're not throwing a big weight at it. In fact, they might even be putting a guard on this with the ice that they've taken.
Where is it? The edge of the 12 foot, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was all the way out to 12 foot, so...
Well, the stone's being swept, and he's went out to join. And I think you could be right.
It's over swinging. They did play what we thought. There must just be a lot of swing. That's not too bad unless both of them blues lift. If the Chinese can hit the left hand, the blue we can see,
Mm-hmm.
and pick the other one clean off the red, then yeah, not great.
Strange how we had one shot that
I don't think they can though.
went through to the right and that, and then we have this shot here that drew a wee bit further than that. So I just wonder if there's maybe a line in the ice where it draws further than compared to maybe being a foot further out.
Possibly, and it's certainly not criticism of the players' handles, but just a consistently different handle.
Aye.
I'm going to guess that the Chinese teams normally have quite a positive handle, so.
So do we think that China will try to take a double here? Or will they just be looking to lie into that split?
I think they'll try and take the double. The line into the split's not a bad shot, but I think that the back one then goes, you're still risking a 2 or a 3, so I think they'll just hit it just like that. That's pretty good.
That's very good, because that centre one is not going to go anywhere really.
No.
And that back, or the red that's furthest away from it, it'll be beating the other two blues.
I think it is. If it wasn't, they'd be in a wee bit of danger of losing an end. But the Chinese have got last stone as well here, remember.
Oh, right, okay.
So the Latvians have to be very careful they don't lose the game on this end. I'd be tempted if I was the Latvians just to make it very difficult to score more than a 1.
Right, but it's the fifth end. We've got 3 more ends. If they lose 1, they're going 6-2 down. It's not the worst, mind, still with 3 ends to go, but
it keeps you on the ice anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas a 2 or a 3 here, we could well see A handshake, I suspect, because it's just not quite happening for them at the moment.
No, you could be right there now.
And they've used their power play, of course, and the Chinese have a power play to come.
And you're going to tell us about power plays again, are you, David?
I did it.
Oh, yeah,
I've already done it while you were away
okay.
getting your coffee.
Right, And the benefits
Honestly.
to the Chinese of this power play at this moment in time would be
Defensive.
defensive.
Purely defensive.
Right,
'cause
okay.
you've got to throw your power play, you have to have last stone.
And how would the Latvians capitalise on a power play at this stage?
Throw a centre guard.
Throw a
They'd have
centre
to,
guard.
no option, because they're going to have to steal through a centre guard. Normal curling.
Looks like what he's going to do is catch the side of that right hand blue. See, I think that he could be really rash here, and if he's too rash, he's got to take his own ones out the back and leave him just with one.
That's exactly my. Because I mean, he could lose two blues out of here quite quickly, and all of a sudden the Chinese have a hit for a 3, maybe a 4.
Must be going to put a lot of power onto it.
I thought at one point he was looking at just heading it on the right hand side, back across left, which was terrifying me. Yeah, I'm not sure. Don't get me wrong, I've been there. I've played it badly myself, and it's the fear of losing shots that you think I'm just going to hit something out of here. I'm not sure it's the right shot here, though. I think it'll just be a draw for a 2.
They certainly didn't waste any time on it, did they? Have we got any other scores, David?
We did, but they were doing a power play at the time, so
Alright.
they were standing in the way. So
All right, okay.
yeah, I think we're about up to date there actually. Sheet B isn't, but we're covering that one anyway, so we know what that score is.
So on sheet A, after 5 ends shown, 5 team are 2 up. On sheet C, Henderson is 1 up against Noreen, and sheet D, McCleary is 1 up against Jan, and sheet E, Mulder is 3 up against Duff, and sheet F, there's a 7-shot difference with Perry well in the lead against Garcia.
Did you notice the scorers were listening as well and just updated our game?
Ah, well, it's good to know that somebody else out there's working.
They didn't make it, John. They didn't make the 2.
Did they not?
They just came up short. So in the end of 1, I still think they should be. They'll be disappointed that they haven't made that, but they're still 4 up. 3 to play.
But at the same time, you should have made it, and that's the difference between winning and losing, say, another game.
Yeah, and that's 2 ends have said that now as well, isn't it? That's it could be they could be 9-2 up now.
They could have been shaking hands.
Yeah.
And,
It's harsh, this commentary business, isn't it?
well, we know best, don't we?
Absolutely. Do you know what point we're using for the guards? Where we're placing the guards?
It was.
See if I can remember to number these rightly.
3. Well, yesterday
Because we've got
it was
1, 2, and 3, but then each point has
a half.
2 points. Yeah,
So
front
it's
and
like
back.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Exactly. I just thought if I tried to put 6 up there, we're going to be halfway down the sheet by the time I got
Okay.
to number 6. So
So it's something like 2.5 on the board.
Yes, so if we're it'll be front or back of that number 2 point as we're using.
I think that number 3, and I'm not sure if they don't number them from the rings.
From the house, I think, yeah.
So that
number 3 would be near side of the middle.
That's right.
Point. I have to say it's been quite amusing playing mixed doubles here this season. I don't think we've played a game where we've played the same rules. The first game we were still putting them on the tee line.
Right, okay.
Which we got round. After a rule inquiry. We ended up playing them on the tee line actually, just to get the game played, because, yeah, I'm sure my opposition wouldn't mind mentioning them, but I won't just in case. But yeah, we're having a full inquest into the rules. They really weren't happy with me then threw a power play later in the end. So. To be fair to him, the written copies we all got this year were last year's rules, so or 2 years ago rules, which were technically on the tee line, so we gave in to that. But the power play wasn't mentioned, so we used that. I think we lost it 2, so it serves us right.
China got an opportunity here to try to get into the 4 foot.
Yeah, again, they're doing just game management. How aggressive do you get? Do you just freeze down, or do you actually make a play on the red in the top of the 12 foot? They're not sitting particularly nicely for a hit weight tap up later on, so do you try and tap that back now just to free up both sides of the sheet?
No, I think that I would just play the 4 foot and just see how it came. As it is, they're just playing it through the house, so that's resolved everything.
And that's, I have to admit, I've been tempted to go the other red, just to free up both sides.
My thinking is that I'm 4 up, and
Yep.
so I'm 4 up in that, and if they wanted to hit me, that I would actually be going onto the back one and maybe going across to the right and be guarded. So,
yep.
However,
I suspect we'll see the next Chinese stone come down with a fair bit of weight behind it.
I'm a club curler, so my thinking is totally different. When I hear some of the young curlers that playing in big competitions and that, it's just a totally different mindset, you know. So opportunity for Latvia here. Just too short.
Yeah, it's always a different mindset, isn't it, when you're trying to deal with player X, who you know will not make the takeout on that handle.
It's when player X tells you before the start that they don't like an out hand.
Limits your options somewhat.
I don't like an out hand. I don't play an out hand.
They're not quite sure what an out hand is when you actually ask them, but they're not keen on it.
Well, they've told you I don't play down the left side or the right side. And then you put them on the wrong side and they're waving their hand. Say, no, put me across there.
Yes, but there's nothing to hit on that side. Yeah.
Well, the only thing you're going to hit on that side is the opposition into the house.
Or just the opposition, full stop. That's why we like playing, isn't it?
It is. There's somebody out there going to listen to this and say, that's me he's talking about.
Well, it was a shot too late, but they got there with it, in my view. Now, imagine that situation without the previous Latvian guard there. So I thought that's the shot I think they should have played the stone before.
Okay.
Wouldn't necessarily have played it then, though. picky up here.
I look forward to coming to see you in the mixed doubles final here at the Ice Bowl, David. For those that are interested, if they email info@dumfriescurling.co.uk and we'll give them the dates, when David's going to be in the final of the mixed doubles.
Thankfully, it's a league, so we're all good. Tactics are fine. It's when I come to play them that it all falls to pieces.
What's he doing? Looking for a hit and roll here, is he?
I think he is, which I don't mind that actually. That's again, it's worrying about the next shot, isn't it? It's thinking, right, if I get one to the 4 foot, they could just smash that red straight across, and there's quite a target to hit. So it could just be a confidence issue with the draw weight as well, or this looks very, very thin, if at all. Nope, nothing.
That shot, the handle was going the right way.
Yeah, I think he's just saying, just by his hand reactions there, he's maybe saying he squared it back out a little touch. Just set it straight.
We're just watching the replay. Yeah.
Yeah, thinking from where he put the brush, the stone pretty much travelled to that point, didn't it?
Right, just maybe a wee bit too hard.
Yeah, I think so. Like I say, just the gestures afterwards, the square handle. So it's a little bit high. It's back tee and it's second shot, so a let off. Okay, explain me this then, John. Situation is virtually the same as the previous shot. Why you choose the hit last time and go for the draw this time?
Well, last time he was looking for a hit and roll, wasn't he? This time they've got that other shot there, which has just changed it. Before they were just one in the centre.
Extra backing.
And that, so... it could be, I mean, they could still have played that shot, got a hit and roll and left that one, but they're maybe just concerned that they're going to get blocked in, if you know what I mean. Because they can't get a really good hit on it because of the guards, which I think that, I don't know, they've managed to get past it. Well done.
Needs to stop though. Needs to stop.
Looks a good shot, though.
And it's not going anywhere, but the Chinese can come straight down on top of it. This is the last Chinese stone though, so it does need to be a good one. Otherwise we could all of a sudden have quite a tight game again.
Aye, I mean, just like what we've mentioned frequently now, that it doesn't take much.
Quite a scoreline on F actually, John. We were quite tempted to cover that game this morning, but we did cover both of them teams yesterday, so
I must admit that this game has been quite interesting in that, just different plays and tactics and the wee mistakes just alternate a wee bit, and here we are in this position that if the Chinese don't get it right, if they crash a guard for example,
looks pretty good.
It is, right.
Doesn't want any kind of bounce here though.
I think it's a wee bit wider. I think it's a bit higher. No, it's fine, isn't it?
Don't think the blue on the top of the 12 is raisable, so I don't think that's going to be an option.
He still has to look at it.
I'd just be wanting to hit that because all the blues jam, don't they?
Aye, they
all
do,
the blues jam everywhere. So any kind of contact with that red, it could be a 3.
I'm not sure whether just drawn to it'll give him the shot.
No, it's just that kind of awkward angle now, isn't it? It's if it is a draw, it's a dead draw. I don't think we can. I think you're right. I don't think we can afford to come up to it and be shot.
The only thing I think is that the last two shots that's been drawn into there, they've been quite well clear of the guard. It's not as if they've been that close to that red guard out there, so they could risk it and try to come a wee bit closer to it. He's not got nothing to lose and everything to gain, you know.
Exactly.
If I can get one this end, that's him just 3 down with 2 to go.
And you would think the Chinese would throw their power play in the 7th.
Aye, they'd want to control it so that they can have a bigger score and maybe get a handshake out of them. Nothing worse than looking at ahead and saying to yourself, where am I going to go and play to try to win this end? You know, and you've got no shots at the side and you've got nothing in the front there that's at the right angles. And
no, and unfortunately for the Latvians, the one that really stands out at the moment is that stone. Anywhere in either fully in the rings or not in the rings at all would have been absolutely fine, but it's just that kind of half hidden. Call one red right now.
Just too high. That's a pity for them. Pity for them that it just didn't come their way.
Yep, just needed that one of them blues to be slightly high of the tee line. Would have been a lot better, but there we go.
One of
That's
those
the game
where if they had just been a wee bit short of the house, that they could have maybe been better off rather than trying to play for that back one. But anyway, it's done and dusted, and we're into the 7th end here. And when we look at the scores, Fife is now 2 down after 6 ends. Zhang is 4 up. McCleary is 2 up. Henderson is 1 down.
Can I just we'll just stop at that one, John. That's a great scoreline from the juniors against a very good Swedish team.
Yes. Aye.
Just as
in fairness, they were really unlucky that they never got a draw last night.
Yeah, absolutely.
When they played when the boy played his last stone there, it just drew a wee bit too far, and if it had just been maybe say 4 inches to the right in that, he would have been on the button and onto the back stone, and I felt a wee bit gutted for them because a nice couple of players. So. But they both said it's been a great experience being able to play at this level of curling, and I think that they've got some big games coming off in mixed doubles, so hopefully it'll, as they said, the tactics that the different teams are using, that's what they're storing up. So
picking up, yeah. No, I just looked at the scoreline there. That's Because I think they were a wee bit down in that game at one point, so they've obviously come back into it. So I'll let you carry on now, John. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. Perret is their game's finished with Perret being the winners against Garcia. So the next session after this, David, is on at
11:30, I believe.
And it'll be, we'll have some live commentary for that, and if not, it'll be available on YouTube, so you can be able to catch up if you want to keep watching how the competition has went on.
In terms of picking the next game, I think we'll wait till after the end of this one, then we'll go and have a look at the standings and see who's at risk of being knocked out or going through, or we'll pick a game that matters anyway.
We can be bribed. If there's anybody out there that wants to, we can be bribed.
Oh, and it's not straight cash either. I mean, any kind of chocolate,
right,
sausage rolls, not
holiday,
a problem.
you know, holiday. You know,
I'm aiming too low here, aren't I?
Foreign holidays somewhere in the world will be fine, you know. So
preferably a Grand Prix location, actually. That would be quite good.
Grand Prix are quite good. Okay, and our tickets to a Grand Prix is good, you know. So
yeah, I've not been fussy, but yeah, Monaco.
That would do as well.
Yeah. There's cheap flights to Nice,
that's
so
right,
we're fine.
Four tickets would keep the peace. 2 would be acceptable.
I like how keeping the peace is just above acceptable. I think if we did get anything like that, John, there'd be an immediate look at the rule book.
So Latvia here are still on, having played 3 games. They've won 1 and lost the other 2. And the Chinese, we still have them showing us having only played 2 games and having lost 2 games. So I don't know if that is the...
Yeah, if anybody is listening in the scoring, if they could maybe have a look at, it would be the Chinese against Noreen Rink from Sweden, I think, is the game we're missing by the look of it. Just get that checked. I think it's Graham doing the scoring. There's little puffs of smoke coming out from over there. Quite a nice stone. I'm glad I saw that one coming in before I made the comment of I thought they might have gone for the hit. I'll make the comment anyway. 5 up. Chance of a double to get rid of all the blues in the house.
It's worth a go.
I think this is where we just see occasionally teams complicating the end too much, but that's... it's maybe just me being overly defensive. A chance to pretty much kill the game.
So we've got games being played up until 6:30 tonight, or 6 o'clock tonight. And
I think we jinxed sheet C.
just an update there. Noreen has now went 4 ahead of Henderson, and that's the final score. So, still a good effort from our young team. Well done. Yes, we've got games up until 6 o'clock tonight, and then we've got a break while we feed everyone, and then we've got quarter-finals starting at 8:30. I think there's 2 sessions, 8:30, or is there just one session?
No, just one session, John.
Sorry,
four quarter-finals, plus hot shots.
All right, okay, there's some other things on which we'll
Casually ignore during the webcasting.
see if we can actually let you see some of it.
No, I think what we're going to do with that is we're on the webcasting. We're going to concentrate on the main competition.
Right.
We might see it if somebody has a phone. We'll give them some Facebook access details, and we can just put a live video on Facebook of that. So give people the option of watching either or. We'll see how that goes, though. I don't know how many volunteers are required to actually run the hot shots competition. So we'll see.
Could be somebody else on the hot seats here at that time.
We'll find somebody. There's normally plenty of people come in on a Saturday night, so we'll find somebody.
That's because there's a free meal.
That's why I'm here. It's a bad sign of your diet when you have to come in at breakfast time for a promise of a free meal at tea time, isn't it?
This is an escape from the normal Monday to Friday 9 to 5 job that you've got, David.
Yeah, 9 to 5. That's the one.
9 a.m. to 5 a.m.
That's the one. That's a bit more like it. Can't help but feel the Chinese have let this end get a little bit messed up.
Well, I'm saying that Chinese stone still to the front there.
Yeah, they've not lost the end by any stretch, but I just think that there's a lot more blue stones in there than necessary. And I would certainly be still playing the double, but I would have played that for the last 3 shots now, so...
Another option for them would be just to draw in on the left-hand side as we view it, and just draw even up against their own centre red there.
Yeah, I think the only problem with that, John, is if they end up anywhere on the right hand side, it's going to be quite. There's a chance that centre red could then spin off the blue that it's attached to and take the back red out as well. So you could end up setting up something that's not there at the moment.
Right, but what I was thinking was that if the red is, if the Chinese, well, it's immaterial anyway, they've made up their mind what they're going to do, so... If
they get it to the nose and it's frozen, it's not going anywhere. No, I'd agree with that.
You know,
but if they end up just to the left of it, it's potentially not very nice. But I think they're going for the double, which I have to admit, as I say, that's probably what I would have.
Damage limitation, and let's get rid of some of the opposition, and you're 5 up.
You're 5 up, exactly.
Play for the scoreboard. Just hit it too thicker.
Can they get through to this? I'm not entirely convinced they can.
can we see from the other side or not?
If we go back to the other camera for a second, John. Well, that's just a mess.
I presume you can't see for you can't get a hit on his right hand side there. Because this is the last shot, so it's not as if he can play about with it. It has to be a positive shot.
I think he has to feather past the guard that he's holding the brush against. And I think he's then looking to hit this one into there somewhere.
Yes.
Now he's probably doing it with the knowledge
I think
that
he's
this
looking
blue
to
here
drive.
disappears.
I think he's looking to drive the guard up.
Well, he could do it that way, to be fair. He could do it that way. We're doing it with the knowledge that this blue on the 4 foot's going.
Aye.
That it's a goner.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what he's hoping is that then this red here is going to scoot over the top of this red and remove that one as well.
Mm-hmm.
Freehand drawing now. Do you like that?
We haven't seen a lot of shots being driven up at this game at all. Like,
We've not, no.
This will be the first one. So,
and it's, you know, it's a very outside chance, but I just feel the Chinese have let that end build up a little bit. They had a chance to kill the end and make it a lot more simple. They're maybe looking to force a one and take a handshake, but nothing. Yeah, I think that's too red, actually. It is.
right, so anyway, the Chinese have got at least one win on the board, and hopefully if the scores are updated we may find that they've got another one which we have not been able to see. So we will be back at 11:30.
It is updated now, by the way, John. So
all right, okay.
that would be their second win. So they're now on 2-2.
So that's good for the Chinese. Pleased to see that our visitors have had some success in that. So well done to you. And we'll be back later on for another game here at Dumfries Ice Bowl. Thanks very much, David.
No problem at all. And we will see you all again at 11:30.
Okay, bye.